Hello there. This is Denise B. Lawrence, and I want to thank you for taking the time to register for my webinar. So while you wait for the webinar to start, I wanted to give you an opportunity to get to know me a little bit as you and I begin this journey together. So, I'm all about profitable nonprofits, and I have a system to do that. So I wanted to give you a little bit of my story as to how I got there. So I have been working with nonprofit organizations for over 30 years throughout the United States and have clients as well in India and Haiti and Africa. So really excited about the growth of my consulting work and my consulting company. But a few years ago, I realized I really wasn't as passionate about going in and doing the work for nonprofits as I was at working directly with nonprofit executives, teaching them how to create and establish profitable nonprofits. So, and I was trying to figure out how to do more of that, how to spend more time working directly in changing the organizational structure and direction of organizations that either exist or are starting. And more importantly, I enjoyed working with startup and nonprofit organizations. And so was trying to figure that out and had a health crisis that gave me the right amount of downtime to really draw into myself and determine what I really wanted to do. And it's funny, I read an article recently about an amazing woman who was a high ranking corporate litigation attorney in a New York, a prestigious New York law firm. And she was working 6 to 7 days a week, doing trial litigation in the corporate world, making more money, she said, than anyone had ever made in her family history. So that empowered her, and she felt that, with that financial security, she would be able to make great impact. But unfortunately, she worked so much that she did not get to do what she really had a passion for, which was women's advocacy work. And so she had a health crisis. She had a baby and had some major complications after delivering her child, but ignored what her body was telling her and continued, hitting the grind with her job. There was some big trial that she felt she had to complete, and so she pushed herself until the point where her body collapsed and she ended up in an emergency room in emergency surgery and out for several months recovering from that. And during that time, she realized what she had done to herself, her body, and her life, and what she wasn't doing. It was what she was doing was counterproductive to what her intentions were when she first went to college. She wanted to have an impact on women's rights and women's advocacy, and she wasn't doing that. And so she decided to leave her job, her corporate job, and venture into the nonprofit industry, saving the lives of women who had no voice. So while I commend her for that, I don't want any of us to get to a point that we have to have such a health crisis or some other crisis before we start living our dream and our passion. So I'm all about helping nonprofit executives figure out how to establish profitable nonprofit systems because I know that money is probably one of the reasons people don't want to leave their corporate job and start a nonprofit because somehow they think, oh my goodness, I can't earn a living. Well, not true. And so through my system that I've created over the last 30 years and tested and tried, you can do just that. Live out your passion, what I call save the world and earn a living. And so when I was in my medical crisis, I had a routine surgery. Well, it was supposed to be routine a few years ago. And the surgeon made a boo-boo. And as a result, I ended up 6 months of bed rest and pain and 5 post surgeries from that initial surgery. But during that time, I had, quite frankly, some time with God. to talk about what his plan was for my life, and what it was that drove me to get up every day and to attempt to conquer. And that was working directly with nonprofit executives, specifically startups, to do it right. I have seen the failures over the years of nonprofits that start out without any resources, without any money, and trying to have impact, and there's great need in their community. Eventually, those executives burn out because there's no money to take care of themselves, let alone the people that they're trying to help and to save. And so I took all of my years of experience, honed in on what has worked, and created a system that I have now had the pleasure of helping over hundreds of nonprofit executives um, achieve, great success with. And so that is my passion, and that's what I'm about. I am a wife and mother and grandmother of 12 amazing grandkids. And so my life is full. Um, so I had to figure out what it was that I was going to do for my own living that also brought me joy and gave me the time that I need to commit to my family. I am also a pastor. I was ordained back in 2013. And so saving and helping the poor and the unjust is biblical for me and is important for me. And so I am here to live out my passion so that you can live out your passion. And that's what I'm all about. I'm so happy again that you've taken the time to register for my webinar. This is Denise B. Lawrence. Thank you for allowing me to introduce myself a little. And I hope that we get a chance to work together on your journey. Take care.